What up, everyone? Once again, thank you all so much for tuning back in to another recap, and let's just jump right into it. So, this is how the Nasdaq performed on the day today, and just like yesterday, it was for the most part trading pretty sideways, right? It had no really big breakout for the upside or a sell off to the downside, and it was kind of just trading in between this little channel here, was finding a support around this general area here, right? So, every time that the Nasdaq dropped to around this area right around here where I drew my red line, it did tend to find a support and bounce, right? The bounce either was just to the middle VWAP here, this pinkish line right here, and it ended up selling off a bit again. Or it did find a support sometimes, like this time and this time right here, where it was able to soar to closer to the top VWAP, right? It did find somewhat of a little resistance right around this level. So this was a channel I was trading between, and I want to go ahead and share with you guys how I did on the day. So as you guys can see from the thumbnail, it was a red day today. Unfortunately, wasn't able to finish off the week on a green note, but in terms of the overall week, I did still end green, so very blessed for that. And I only had 8 orders and 8 fills today, a lot less than usual. I only took like 4 trades, and I was down like $63. So I want to go ahead and share with you guys what I did wrong today that I wasn't doing earlier on in the week that allowed me to be green. I definitely noticed something on the trades I was taking that was not the best, right? I wasn't putting the best practices into play, and I want to go ahead and share with you guys what that was. So right around here, leading into the market open at 6:30, just like the pre-market, like I always tell you guys, I look at the pre-market leading into the market open to see kind of what direction the Nasdaq could be headed. And it did end up following this kind of downtrend pattern, and it rallied a bit up to right around this green SMA line, but ultimately ended up getting rejected and falling to the bottom VWAP, where it did end up finding a support right throughout the day. So where did I go wrong is I ended up taking trades today that were just not the best in terms of the risk to reward. Today, for some reason, I didn't send the trade at the areas that would have been the smartest to. I kind of waited a bit to send the trade, and that just ended up costing me a lot more money today because of the fact that in order for me to have stopped out on the trade, because I got in a little later, let's say I got into SU's play right here, I would only sell out if it made sense kind of when it rallied above it. And that's just a heftier loss, right? The risk to reward, basically, to sum it up, was not on point today. If I were to get into SU's play here thinking it was going to fall, the risk to reward where I would sell for a stop, kind of where it would make sense when it broke above this SMA line here, or I would have looked to sell at the bottom VWAP, it's kind of 50-50, right? If I'm getting in towards the middle-ish here. It's honestly literally like 50-50, not a good type of setup at all. If I were looking for a SU's play, I should have sent it somewhere up here, right? I should have sent it somewhere closer to up here because that's what makes sense. It has been getting rejected below this middle VWAP anytime it's approached it. And it wouldn't make sense for me to kind of get in towards the middle, right? Because of the risk reward, it's just not worth it. So here are my trades on the day. And my second trade on SQs, as you guys can see, I bought in at 50.16 and sold for a loss at 49.64. That trade alone, I lost like $32 or something like that. And the timestamp was at 7:07. So it was right around this area. I basically waited too long to kind of get into SQs. As it started falling, I sent it when I should have sent it towards the top. I never did. It started falling a bit and I sent it like somewhere right around here. And because of that, because of my late send, I wasn't going to feel comfortable cutting this until I saw it really wanted to push above this SMA line, this green SMA line here, and break the pattern, right? Where it's been, anytime it's approached to here, it's sold off. It approached to here, sold off, right? So once it broke that pattern, that I would have only felt comfortable selling at a smart place kind of up here where it had a nice little push above it. And if I waited to get in as it fell, right, like I just said, not a good risk to reward because I ended up cutting it all the way up here once I got in somewhere down here. And it was just not pretty, obviously, right? I lost like over $30 on that one trade. That's over 1% because I was only using $2,500 to trade. Whereas if I got in towards the top right around here, a sell, like basically this kind of range right here wouldn't be horrible, right? If I got in right around here and I'm looking to profit this to this whole range down here, right? Kind of towards the bottom view up. That would have been at least a 2-to-1 ratio, which is definitely something that's a lot more attractive than like the 50-50 or 1-to-1 ratio, right? Because there's no edge if you're trading that way. So I did get stopped there, and I ended up taking a few more trades, one on TQs and another on SQs, and they also went south because basically where I went wrong today was I ended up piling on losses too quick, and for multiple trades I got in towards that middle area versus like getting in somewhere that's very smart towards like the top of right below the middle VWAP, or let's say right below the top VWAP here. So this play all the way here, when it got to the top, I didn't get to take part in that because I was already down over $60 on the day, and I decided to call it. That was enough for me to want to just be done on the day, even though I knew there was a great chance that if NQ did rally, just like yesterday, exact same pattern, I didn't think that it would honestly keep going aggressively after that, given the recent patterns, right? If you look at the 5-day 5 minutes, the NASDAQ has been very bearish recently, right? Anytime, even in the previous days, it's pushed up to the top VWAP here. Let me zoom in a bit. It's tended to hit it and then fall, approach it and then fall. And today it was kind of no different, except for kind of towards the market close, which I'm gonna go over with you guys. But yeah, basically I put myself at losses too quickly on, so I couldn't take part in the Nasdaq when I did see that it actually approached the top VWAP like it has consistently. I didn't get to take another trade on this and ride it all the way down, because from all the way up here it did end up approaching to the bottom VWAP again, and it made new lows on the day. So that would have been a very nice trade, and obviously a risk to reward like that is very worth it, because if I gotten up here, I would only cut it if it broke above the top VWAP and went a little, like right around there. 0.23% is what I'm giving up, but obviously the ETFs are triple leveraged, so it'd be triple that. Versus if I gotten up here looking for a play to SUs at the bottom VWAP, obviously the risk to reward is worth it. That's a whole 1% drop, right? So for SUs, that would have been a 3% gain versus giving up like 0.7%, right? That's a much better and attractive risk to reward ratio. And for whatever reason, I just was not doing it, and I definitely paid the price today. You have to trade smart. That's how I was losing my money the whole past month when I was red. I kept getting in towards these middle ranges when it's not smart. It's always usually the middle ranges are what's followed with chop. It's better to get in at the areas that are very worth it, because if you get in towards this middle, if you're gonna look to sell at the bottom VWAP, it's like, it's just not worth it if you're gonna end up being stopped out basically the same amount in the upside. It's like a 1-on-1 risk to reward ratio, and you should never be trading that. So obviously, as you guys can see, the Nasdaq did end up finding a strong support right around this level I drew, and when it broke above the middle VWAP again, it did start soaring, finding these higher highs and higher lows, basically riding this blue EMA line up, right? And while it did end up struggling a bit to break the top VWAP, as you can see here, 2 times it tried to go and fell, it did ultimately find a higher low. And because, like, look at this big green candle, a lot of buying pressure came in, and this is a decent sized margin where it pushed above this top VWAP here for people that start thinking like, maybe it is going to be a TQ's play. And towards the market close up until now, as you can see, it ends up the Nasdaq has hit new highs, and it's starting to look like it wants to trend up a bit. So that's definitely a good sign for anyone kind of invested in all the tech stocks and stuff like that, because if the Nasdaq does move up, then tech stocks will follow. But never get too ahead of yourselves, because the market has still been selling off aggressively, like I just said. And even though it has broken above here, it's nothing like dramatic, right? It can still very well find a lower high anywhere kind of here. It could even push up to like right around here, which still technically be a lower high. So just watch out for that. And if you are looking to get into stuff for the market to recover, maybe be a little more patient for these signs of higher highs and higher lows that really form. And if you do want to get in now, because I know it might be tempting because things have been dropping, well, You can always get in, but maybe just a quarter of your position or something like that, right? Don't put yourself in an uncomfortable situation where you're going all in right now and it does end up to continue selling off. So that's where I want to leave you with that. And as for the momentum stocks, I do want to show you guys the momentum stock of the day. Here's a scanner, it's fresh on the day. I haven't even searched for a stock myself, but say you were going to, here are all the top gappers, right? Let's take AAOI for example, the second one on the list. If I pull it up, it's the first time I'm looking at it. Momentum stocks also offer a lot of the time pretty consistent patterns, right? Just like the Nasdaq, except they're a lot more volatile, which is why I just personally don't want to trade them, because I'm just not as comfortable when things move a lot quicker, because there's also that downside where these stocks tend to also drop a lot quicker. But as you guys can see, it did end up having a nice push on the day, around a 30% push from kind of lows of the day to highs of the day. And but look at these red candles. These red candles in a second or two can flush you out like 5-6%. So that's just something where I'm very uncomfortable with. I don't want to put myself just in a situation like that. That's why I personally decided to stop trading momentum stocks and start trading the Nasdaq, because it does move a lot less volatile than, like a 6% drop in a second. The Nasdaq will, like, I don't think it will ever really have that unless news comes out or something like that. So yeah, that just definitely watch out for the fake outs if you're gonna get in, but a lot of opportunity without a doubt. And yeah, that's just it for my recap for today, guys. Obviously didn't do the best today, but just very happy to end the week on a green note. And yeah, just things are starting to look a little better, because I am starting to pick up on kind of the smarter areas to get in. And I even acknowledged today I definitely got in that dumb area. So I basically deserve this nice little red day, right? Because the market will humble you, and it will basically make sure if you're not doing something right, you can't, you're gonna run out of luck eventually if things are going great for you, but there is no kind of plan in place, right? The market will always humble you, like I just said. So that's just it. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Leave any comments down below, and we'd really appreciate it if you gave this video a thumbs up and even consider subscribing. We post videos every single day the market's open, and hopefully we look forward to seeing you guys in the future again. Thank you guys so much, and have a great weekend.